if you would like to solve a linear equation, I give you an example there. So we have x plus 5 equals to 9, and if the question is find the value of x, then we can just subtract 5 from both sides. So on the left side here you will get, on the left side you will get x, and on the right side you'll have 4. So that's kind of a quick review of 3 things that we're going to need for today's objective, which is solving a quadratic equation using completing the square. Okay, so I'll just jump right into it, and then in the middle of the lesson, if you have any questions, just let me know. Just raise your hand, just open your mic, whatever it is, just let me know. I'll get into it. Okay, let me start. Okay, we will dive into a mathematical question. So the instruction is that we need to solve. So we need to solve these quadratic equations, which is x squared plus 6x equals to 55. So that's the question. Now, last week we factorized this already, but this week we are going to see another angle in solving this one using completing the square. Please focus on the naming, completing the square. So we are going to see square. And if you're visual, then I think hopefully this method will help you. Okay, let's begin. So let's say we have the question written there. Simple question, solve x squared plus 6x equals to 55. Now let's consider these 2 things. Considering x squared as the area of a square with the length of the side is x, and 6x is going to be the area of a rectangle. I put it so that you can see that it has the same length of side x, and for the rectangle of the 6x, I divide it equally into 3 and 3. So I put it geometrically, well, in the shape of square and 2 rectangles side by side. So you can see the relationship between x squared plus 6x equal to 55 with the image like this. Okay, if you have this one already, then I will continue now. The next thing that I will try to do is I will rearrange. I will rearrange these 2 rectangles, the blue one, and as you can see the side is x, and attach it with the square with the same side of x. So I will get it like this. And then on the vertical, on the left side, we have 3, and then we have a square with x. On the horizontal one down below, we have x, and we have 3, and it's still the same, equals to 55. Now, this is as it names, completing the square. Well, as you can see here, it's going to almost become a square. So we're going to complete it, so it becomes a square. We are going to put in a tiny square with an area of 9. Each side length is 3. So as you can see, if I put it 9 to the left, I also put it 9 to the right. Equal treatment on both sides. There we go. Complete the square. So the square is complete now, become a square with the same side length, x plus 3 and x plus 3. And on the right hand side, it becomes 64. 55 plus 9. I'll pause for a while. You have any questions? Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly like that one. So because in 3 and 3, and the area of a square, is multiply them. 3 times 3 is 9. So we're completing the square, completing the diagram to become a full square. So that's why we have the green square of 9 there. Because this is just in real life, this is just an understanding, because the method that we will see after this is going to be directly algebraic, but at the end, if we get this idea, then you'll get you get it in visual. Okay, this is what needs to be done. Now, to get to your question, which is so important, is why do I need to complete the square in real life? So basically, mathematics, if you put it directly in like completing the square, the easiest one is, for example, you're helping your dad in trying to change your floor, your new, make it into a new floor, and then you just want to make sure that everything is good, and then you put it into side by side. So you can help by making sure that, okay, we need to complete this edge with a certain size of a tile. So in that case, that's a really simple example if you would like to help your dad in flooring, because I recently are renovating my house, so I need to make sure that I know exactly the size of each of the floors. So I need to make sure how many tiles do I have it. So basically, this completing the square directly, it has, like you mentioned, why would I completing the square in real life? Well, you will have the idea of order your thinking, so you will arrange your thinking one step at a time, so your pattern of thinking will be orderly done. So that's, in my opinion, will help you in this mathematics problem. Okay, now if I may continue, once you finish completing the square, you get this equation, and then you'll get it a full square with side length of x plus 3 and x plus 3. And then do it algebraically, you have a lot of this. X plus 3 equals to x plus 3 is 64. You square it on the left side, x plus 3 square. The right side remains 64. Then taking the square root of both sides, you'll get plus minus square root of 64, which is plus minus 8. Thus, solving a linear equation, just as we revised earlier, you get two solutions, which is 5 and negative 11. So these are the solutions of the first quadratic equation that we have. Now, as I mentioned, Faith, about doing this in order, what I would like to suggest you to remember the word order, because at the end of the day, once you finish studying mathematics, it will help you to work in order, to think orderly manner, because we are created by an orderly God. That's my takeaway in every lesson of mathematics. Whenever we are studying mathematics, at the end of the day, we'll have an orderly pattern of thinking. We call it mathematical thinking. So it will help you in managing whatever it is, application in whatever it is, because we are created by an orderly God. So that's my point. Now, so far we have find the solution as it is being asked. So before I continue, do you have any follow-up questions? Maybe Faith or Nancy, do you have any follow-up questions? If no, now, so this is a conclusion. These are the solutions. Now, normally, if I would like to show you this, normally, when dealing with completing the square, we just do it like this one. But I try to start by showing the diagram and what does it mean by completing the square, so that these steps are make sense. So if you can see the first line, the one that I'm pointing, x squared with purple plus 6x equals to 55, is if you can see the corresponding variable, x plus 6, we divide 6 into 2, we divide 6 into 2, so it becomes 3 here. So if you see the previous one, this is the previous one from 1, it is being divided into 2. So this is why in the first place we have this idea. And then to make sure that things x plus 3 bracket square did not change with the previous line, we have to subtract this line again. So from the first line to the second line, we do this one procedure. X squared plus 6x into x plus 3 bracket square. minus 9. So that's the transformation that we call completing the square. Yes. If I don't have the picture, how do you know it is 9? Actually, if without the picture, x plus 3 bracket square, if we expand this one, if we multiply between x plus 3 and x plus 3, it will resulting into x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. And if I simplify that one, it will become x squared plus 6x plus 9, which I don't have it at the first line. That's why we subtracted again with 9. So it's the same with the previous line. Okay, now let me do it like this one. Okay, let me write it like this. Okay, so when we have this, okay, when we expand it, we put it like this. If this is x plus 3, square means we multiply it again, x plus 3. Okay, everybody following so far? In expanding this one, so we meet x with x. Okay, so it becomes x squared. The next one is x meet with 3. So it becomes 3x. And then the next one is 3 with x. So it becomes plus 3x. And the last one is 3 with 3. So it becomes plus 9. And as we simplify this one, we will see where the 9 came from. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Now, this part, it's not the same with the previous line. So that's why the 9 magically appears here. Because what we have is x squared plus 6x plus 9, but earlier we only have x squared plus 6x. We need to remove this 9. We need to remove this 9. How do we remove it? By subtracting it with 9 again. So that makes sense? Okay, so once we finish with this one, we just add 9 to both sides. We'll have the third line, and then simplifying, take a square root of both sides. We'll get plus minus square root of 64. We have plus minus 8. Thus, we have the solution, and these are the solutions of x squared plus 6x plus 55. Okay, there you go. I was initially when I first learned about completing the square in my school, the teacher go directly into this one, and when I asked, how does this has anything to do with completing the square? I don't see any square in this one. I see the power of 2, we call it square, but what I know about square is a square, just like a square. So I try to come up with this. Oops, oh my scribble is still there. I try to come up with this one so that you can see the square. So it becomes, according to the name, completing the square. Okay, let me erase this one first. Let me erase all of this first. Okay, so it's clean. Okay. Okay, done. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have this. As you can see, order, we will do it step by step with the same order. So I'm going to give you the next examples, more examples, using the same format that we can see. Now, the magic part, I don't like to use the word magic. Now, the interesting part, you can see the transformation from x squared plus 8x. Because x, you just write it, the sign following, 8 divided by 4. Remember, we put it in as a rectangle, we divide it by 2, 4 and 4. So this is where the 4 came from. And then this 16 is magically again, it's appear here in order so that we do not change the previous line. The rest of the lines are exactly the same. So this first line and the second line transformation that I think we need to be able to understand it. The rest If you do it in order like this, it's going to be, you got it into the solutions, and it's going to be straightforward. Give you one more examples with 2, so it's x, and plus 2 divided by 2, so it becomes 1, and then you subtract it with 1 squared, so it's gone, and then you move it to you move it to the right, or you plus 1 on both sides, you'll get it into the third line, and so on and so forth. You finish it and you get the solutions. Let me give you one more with the negative one. It's the same procedure. X, you go down, negative 12 divided by 2, 6, you subtract it, always subtract it with 6 squared, so 36. Move it to the right, simplify, you get the solutions, and exactly the same with this one. And basically it's the same repeating procedural process, but the key is that you have to understand about this transformation. That's why we call it completing the square, and I show it to you earlier about the image so that you can visually remember about the transformation as you work on this one. Okay, any questions, any further questions perhaps? I know it's a lot of algebra in the morning, but we'll get to it. And then I would like you to start, and then I would like to just go through with this one. If you can see the numbers are similar, I put it similar, 6, 8, 2, 12, and 4. I flip the signs, but the rest of the process is the same. So you can work it out, and I'll go around and make sure that you are able to do it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, let's get into work, shall we? I'll put these questions on the board, and let's get to work. Thank you. Okay, I think that's a really quick 10 minutes of 15 minutes of algebra in the morning, so I hope it's according to your expectations. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Okay, I'll put it on the screen again so that, there we go. Yes. Either. Yes, you're right. Exactly. It's going to be 1 or negative 7. Yay! Just got it. Okay. Okay. Yay, congratulations. Okay. Okay, thank you for the question. I was born as Christian, um, and I've been living in the church environment since I was born, because my grandfather was a priest. And then going to Christian school since elementary, and then moving on to a junior high and a Catholic school, and then a state school in high school, and then continuing to a state university. Now, why I do mention this one, I go to Sunday school, I go to church regularly, and so on and so forth. But I really become a fully fully in the Lord ever since that in college, which in college that I have my cell group, and I'm still not serious enough about the cell group. But once I'm almost graduated, and then I get more involved with the Christian community in my college, and after that I go into a Christian school, and that's where the journey begins. Because if your question is how do I my journey in meeting with Christ since birth, I do believe that Jesus is my Lord and Savior. But in really walking with Him, and then in understanding that how the Bible verses came alive, that I have to mention that it started at the end of my university journey, my bachelor's journey. And then since then I met my wife in my campus, and then she pushed me to join further in the Christian community. So I go and I join, and then I go to a Christian school where every day is a devotion, become a homeroom, and for since like since the almost like the after 2 months that of teaching, and then they entrust me to become a homeroom, and then I become homeroom ever since. And one of the obligations is to lead devotion. So there, where I dive into the Bible every day. We go to Bible study regularly in my church. So that's where I feel that all the verses in the Bible becomes really alive, and I can experience Jesus on everyday life. It's not going to be, it's not always a smooth ride, but I can see that in many days that I cling to it on Bible verses, and then with the sermons, and then I'm just so excited about working in a Christian school. To 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 add to my last comment is that I had the opportunity to take the master's in Columbia International University in South Carolina, to take my master's degree, and then that's another Christian community that I felt really encouraged with. I never seen a bigger scale of Christian community back home, aside of the Christian school and the church. But this is just like a community that, well, what I have to say, what shocked me is that as we go to the chapel for this regular chapel during one of the day, and I just met this guy, and then we just talked from cafeteria to the chapel, and before we enter the chapel room, he just, Chris, can I pray for you? I said, a bit that's not a normal habit that I'm accustomed to in Indonesia, but there I felt that okay, that's what's supposed to be when you are in a conversation, and then you're led to pray for the person, then you just go ahead and do it. And then that's why it becomes more exciting for me, this Christian life. So apologies a bit long, but I just want to get the whole picture. So there you go. I was in the United States for 4 summers. So yeah, 4 summers, back and forth. So during the school holiday in Indonesia, I flew to the States for normally June, July, and then I return again and then continue my work. So I do it in 4 summers. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. It's okay. So, as I mentioned that my first experience as a homeroom teacher, I was given a homeroom of class grade 11 4. There's 11 1, 11 2, 11 3, 11 4. Now 11.4, it's I found out later is one of the most challenging class at that time. I with them for 2 years, so grade 11 and grade 12. Now why I call it challenging, because there are not many students there. It's around 20 students inside, and then the spectrum goes into the really diligent one that would like to study, and the other one that brings snacks to the classroom and then they just eat in the classroom. So that's I consider it as a challenging students. Now, how do I handle them? I really strict with them. I mean, just following the rules, go through the school rules with them, but sometimes they just violate it, and I have to be really strong in the classroom to make sure that the other students who really would like to study, they can have their study. So many times I really need to talk strongly to them in the classroom. But not just that one. Once the class is over, I ask them to just say, can we talk? Mainly there are three students that keep disturbing the class, if I put that word. But after quite a long and frequent conversation, at the end of grade 11, well, one of them, I still remember his name is Andrianto. He just called me late at night. He never did that. He just called me and then asked a simple question. Sir, I would like to do this algebra thing. How do I do it? I'm a bit shocked. Never asked like that. Never. And his favorite time is lunchtime. So I believe that a lot of prayers and a lot of approaches outside classroom, and also a strong rebuke, it helped them to 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 know where they are right now as a student, and they have to study hard. And then he he ending up with, I still remember I gave I think the grade at the end is 44. I put grade 44 at the final grade. That's a huge one because previously it's 1. So he just cannot do anything. He won't do anything. He's a smart boy, but he just refuses to do anything. But the increment from 1 to 44, even a lot of remedials, talking with parents is not that concerned. So this boy just coming to school, and as the homeroom teacher, I have to say that I'm blessed to be able to know him because I can see how he progressed. So that's how I approach difficult students. I make sure that inside the classroom, everybody's treated fairly. So when starting class on time, even the latecomers, you have to know that you're late. So because I need to respect the on-timers. And then after I strong rebuke in the classroom, normally after classroom, I always talk with them just to make sure that things are clear. They know why I did this, not because of their personality, but because of their behavior in the classroom. It's not supposed to be. So maybe that's a bit long explanation, but that's mainly how I handle it. And that class, it becomes one of my favorite class, and just super awesome. Strong rebuke. With an open container. We have laptops on the desk. You have to put a closed lid into it. What I have to say is strong rebuke is that I need to raise my voice firmly. Okay. Okay, okay, girls, settle down. Both of you are late coming to classroom. You know the time. The time is 20:30, and you come in 7 minutes late. And I would like to hear your reasons, but not now. I need you to sit down, respect your peers, open your textbook. We're going to study right now because you have to study. That's your job right now. I hope I make myself clear, and then we will need to discuss further after this classroom. I hope I make myself clear. I will handle that one. I'll talk to your next teacher because your behavior is more important. Because once you understand why you should come on time, then you will not come late again to other classes. Something like that. something like. And I did normally after I hold the student for the next class because we are moving classes at that time. I escort the students back to the next class, and then I talk, and then I let the students in. I promise I talk to the teachers. Hey, we've been have a conversation, and the teacher understand. And normally I did that. I did not let the students go by themselves because I promised them that I'll talk to your next teacher. Now you just concentrate and we will talk. Something like that. Hmm. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Hey, congratulations. Hi. Hi. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Mm, mm. Okay. Can you because if I think about questions, I make a list of questions already. So we have I have a long list of questions. But I think on top of all, just would like to understand about the school culture as Principal Faith just mentioned about. Um, I missed the name, but the way to talk to the students. So can you just describe what the school culture and how and the climate of the school so that I understand the similarities with the my past experiences, so it will help a lot.